Thanks for joining us here. I'm Anna. I'm a member of Fair Luxury here and a jeweller. And we are all gathered here today to talk about our Fair Luxury pledge. So obviously, I think you're probably all familiar with it by now. This is the third dedicated Fair Luxury open house pledge session that we've had. And we are halfway through this. We set out an initial 12-month sort of time frame for it. And so this is the 6th month, give or take. And so we just thought it would be a great time to come together and ask maybe for a little bit of reflection, have a little bit of a catch up on where everyone's up to with their own pledges, and sort of give you a bit of an update on what we've, as Fair Luxury, what we've achieved so far with the pledge. It's been amazing. We're all absolutely thrilled at Fair Luxury. It's been a wonderful 6 months, and we've had, some amazing responses. So we initially set up the pledge as a way of getting everyone who wanted to join, who wanted to make their own practice, whether industry practice, whether it be as a goldsmith or a gemstone dealer or a journalist, as a way of getting involved in sort of making their practice more sustainable or more eco-friendly, and taking a small step towards that, and doing it as a community, in the idea that there's sort of strength in numbers kind of thing, and we'll have a platform to support each other and to realize that there's there's a lot of us out there that are working towards a more sustainable and eco jewelry industry. So it feels like a really unprecedented time at the moment for the movement that we're all part of and creating, because there's just so much conversation around various issues. It feels exciting, but it also feels like, oh my God, there's so much to do, there's so much to be worked on, and also, but there is so many people out there doing some fantastic work. So in terms of the pledge itself, we've reached 112 so far. So thank you everyone for jumping on and joining with us. I mean, this is literally, it's about everyone here, every pledgee. It's not about Fair Luxury, it's about you guys. So really thank you. We've been nominated for a UK Jewellery Award, which is very exciting, for Social Media Campaign of the Year, which is fantastic because we're all volunteers. We're all doing this, for our passion, and so we're up against some big guns. So it's great that we've done all this with no budget and just a load of goodwill and energy. So that's fantastic. We've also just got a double-page spread in the Gems and Jewellery magazine. So that's an amazing bit of publicity across the industry. And also in the Goldsmiths Craft and Design Council catalogue that went out a couple of weeks ago. So that's great as well. That's really fantastic coverage. So it's really great to feel that we are making, our voices are being heard in the industry, and we are being supported and featured out there. So that's brilliant. So yeah, as I say, we're halfway through. So in a second, we're going to pass over to Stuart, Paul and Ruby from Livelihoods Studio to talk about their particular pledges and how things have been going with them. And so during the next, this is an hour-long session, so we've got 10 minutes here, so I better get everyone on, stop waffling. 10 minutes here, and then we're going to breakout rooms, which you've all sort of signed up for already, to talk about anything that you need to just to share information. And then we're going to come back. But during that time, I'd like to really ask you to ask you what you think could really help continue the energy that we've created so far. What you think would be, really good way of moving forward to just really get more people on board and to make sure that we're all sort of staying at this peak that we are at the moment. I know some of you will have already completed your pledges because it's 12 months, some of you only 6 months, 3 months. So you could maybe think about sharing what the benefits you've got out of it, how you found it. Would you do it again? Would you recommend it to other people? So we have a little think about that during today's session, and maybe we can come back and talk about that afterwards. But okay, let's just pass over to Stuart or Ruby, who wants to go first, and we'll get things rolling. Where are we? Who's going first?
I'll take the plunge.
Go on, love. Go on.
Take one for the team. Hello, my name's Ruby, and I work as the digital marketing assistant for Breen Studio. This year is the International Year for the Elimination of Child Labour, which kind of does what it says on the tin. And so as a team at Breen Studio, we decided that now was a better time than ever to kind of raise awareness of the issue of child labour in jewellery supply chains. There are an estimated 1 million children worldwide still working in artisanal and small-scale gold and gemstone mining, and so we kind of thought, look, let's make some noise, and that was our pledge this year, essentially. To make it tangible, we kind of got our heads together and established a plan of action, which was that we wanted to raise at least £1,000 for a relevant charity. And so we have teamed up with the Global March Against Child Labour and launched a fundraiser on the 16th of June, which was the International Day Against Child Labour. And since then, so that's been 8 weeks or so, we are very proud to have raised £600 already. So it's going great. And we're just keeping our fingers crossed now for similar momentum for the remainder of the year. So that's us. I'll pass over to Stuart.
Thanks, Ruby. Great. Well, that was very short and sweet. So you've done everything right with your pledge, whereas I've done everything wrong. So I'm Stuart. I'm from 1948. We are a supplier of coloured gemstones, and what I did for my pledge broke all of the rules that we told everyone to follow at the beginning. So all of the smart keywords were something that I totally ignored. And I decided that for 1948, we wanted to become certified as a B Corp. And a B Corp is, in brief, is an internationally recognized certification for companies who want to be seen and want to be able to demonstrate clearly that they are doing something useful with their businesses in terms of the the bigger picture, if you like, and doing something for the wider community rather than just existing to make money. And I thought, since 1948 has just this year been going 10 years, unbelievably, I thought that would be a good time for us to do something, like I say, which would clearly show what we were about. And so I set out to do that. Now, actually going for the B Corp certification, it consists of lots and lots of different activities. And fortunately, there were a few of us who wanted to do that in the amongst the pledge people. So we have been working together in a small group, and we've been supported by Victoria Wall from the Fair Luxury team as well, who is I'm sure, B Corp leader, I think it's called. So essentially being in a position to advise us how to go through the process. And we all set about undertaking the online assessment for becoming a B Corp. So there's lots and lots of questions that you answer about your business. So really what I should have done, if I'd wanted a smart objective, would have been to have said something like, I'm going to complete the assessment in a particular amount of time, and that would have been smart, and measurable and all of those good things. But that's anyway how it's turned out, that I have kind of broken it down into different tasks. And just a couple of weeks ago, I was able to get to the threshold of points that you have to do through the assessment, and then I was able to submit my application to B Corp. So that's all great. So that's where I'm at. The downside at the moment, unfortunately, for B Corp is that they're almost a victim of their own success, in as much as they have had so many applications in the recent times, last year or so, I think particularly, that they are struggling to process them all. So I had an email from them last week that said, bear with us, we're trying to recruit people like crazy so that we can process all your applications. But in the meantime, it gives you an opportunity to obviously keep your application details and the assessment up to date, but also to make improvements. So for myself, that means that as part of my certification application, I wanted to convert 1948 from a limited company to a community interest company. So it's a slightly different structure. And again, what that means is that within our company articles of association, that we would have a very clearly defined social purpose put in there so that people can see that. And also if if I was to transfer the company to someone else, that would be something that's really core to the business and embedded in the way that we operate. So having this little bit of time before I have to go through the formal B Corp assessment kind of interview, I'm able to hopefully get that completed as well in the meantime. So I'm able now to look at my pledge and to see what are the the next steps, and I can break down into smaller milestones. So hopefully I can get back on track with the SMART objectives as opposed to this big claim that I made at the beginning about becoming a B Corp, which is likely, unfortunately, because of this backlog, to take it could take 6 or 8 months before I get to the top of the queue for my interview and for the next stage of the process with them. So with all of the things that we do through Fair Luxury, it's a case of continuous improvement. So you never get to the end of this. So it's good. I've got all these little steps to be getting on with in the meantime. So that's what that's where I'm at with my pledge, and it's ongoing.
Fab. Thank you. Thanks both of you for that. Really different pledges taken there, but quite hefty ones as well with those two particular ones, which is fantastic. So like as I said at the beginning, the pledge has been sort of set out, so you can bite off whatever size chunk you'd like to move your business in the direction. So Ruby and Stuart are working on quite sizable projects there, but also equally, there's some working on similar single steps, which is, this is what the whole thing is about, is to just encourage everyone to do something that's manageable and handleable, so that there's no sense of what do you say, not achieving it, so you don't end up feeling like you've sort of missed out on anything, or that it's been an unpleasant experience in any way. This is all about sharing and enjoying and supporting. So that's brilliant to hear. We are thinking about our breakout groups now. So we have a few non-attendees. I suppose they're all somewhere pledging away and didn't have a chance to join, which is fine, So we had a few breakout rooms.
I've just had a little look, and we've got a bit of a natural split between metal sourcing and gem and diamond sourcing.
Okay.
So maybe if we just stick to the 2 rooms, and then there's kind of more dialogue. Else we're all going to be a bit dispersed.
Sounds good. And then we can, if anybody else comes along during that time, Susie, you can pop them into whichever room.
Exactly.
Okay. And then we'll all come back together at the end and sort of if there's any shared experiences. And also, like I was saying at the beginning, it would be really good to, get your feedback as your experience of if you've got ideas that you'd like to share, because it's all about us as a community. So how the experience has been for you, if you've got any ideas that you think would really keep that momentum that we've developed going, that would be fantastic to hear. So if we could reconvene and share any of those experiences, that would be fantastic.
Welcome back.
Hi everyone.
How did you all get on?
Good. I think it always goes really quickly, but we had a really nice session that was general sort of chatting and sharing amongst ourselves, which was nice, and sharing new contacts for gem sourcing, which is brilliant. And Stuart, well, we were all talking, but Stuart saying about pointing everyone towards the ethical making resource online. That they're always, if you hadn't heard of them before, it's a really, really good resource to find new suppliers and new contacts, so to help put you in touch with people that might have what you're looking for. So can somebody put that in the chat, or have you already done it?
It's already in there.
Of course it is. Of course it is. What am I thinking? How was it in your room? How did everybody get on?
Yeah, really good, thank you. Yeah, we were chatting about metals and recycled metal claims and various suppliers, and how to make a pledge that's well defined in order to put it out there, and then actually you have to do it because you're accountable, which is the beauty of the pledge.
Yeah, I think that's been a really important part of it, hasn't it? It's just that sense of like, oh, I've said I'm going to do it, so I've got to do it. Because we all have amazingly good intentions. There's no two ways about it. That's what we're all doing here, you know. So being like, okay, this is where I'm at. This is what I'm doing, and putting it out there is just that extra step towards making things happen. So we've mentioned at the beginning, as I said, we are at a halfway point. So does anybody have anything that they'd like to share in terms of what they might like to see going forward from us or from yourselves, or if you've completed your pledge already, how was it? You know, would you do it again? If you shared the information with any other of your colleagues, it'd just be really nice to get a bit of a sense of where we're up to.
Hi Anna, I'll jump in. I'm Jenny. Just to say that, yeah, I think I've completed my pledge. I pledged to bring in fair mined gold and minimise recycled gold, push forward on that, and yeah, it's all implemented. I'm just slowly selling through my recycled gold pieces and obviously transferring over to fair mined more and more. And I'll have an announcement coming out on good old social media about that imminently, basically. So yeah, all good. And yeah, I'll be looking to do something similar next year to kind of push forward, really keep on at it.
Fantastic. So have you found that taking the pledges has helped you to really set deadlines and to work towards that?
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with Clara. Once it went out on social media, I was like, oh, gold, okay, I've actually got to make an effort. So yeah, that was probably the driving factor.
Fantastic. And have you spoken to any of your colleagues and things about it, or if other people seemed interested or excited about it?
Minimal at the moment, but I plan on doing some kind of coffee mornings with ladies at things once consumer confidence has grown, and I'm in talks with some hotels about doing stuff like that. So that's just a question of when for me, in order to kind of boost that message out there. So yeah, that's on my list.
That's fantastic. So actually going out to the public.
That's the idea, yes. Yeah.
Wonderful. Oh, that sounds really exciting. I mean, I guess we are all doing that a lot of us have end consumers, I guess not all of us, but we're sort of all doing that trying to do that in the most educational way we can, I think. So to gather people. What's up, Stuart?
Yeah, I was just going to say, Jenny, when you do put some stuff out on social, then please tag or share us or just let me know. That would be great, because I think one thing that we need to start doing now as people make progress and complete their pledges is to make sure that we shout about that as well through the Fair Luxury channels. And that helps to keep the momentum. So yeah, please let me know. Thanks.
We've got a few minutes left to perhaps we could talk about the next open house session. which we have coming up on the 16th of September, I believe. It's already out there, isn't it, that you can sign up if you'd like to come along to that. So for those of you that are new, what we do is we alternate pledge sessions with broader open house sessions, which every time is like a different topic that we want to cover, and sort of picking up on anything that might be pertinent in the industry each time the sessions come around. And so the next one we're looking at was motivated by the being 10 years since the launch of Fair Trade Gold this year. So we're looking at what's happening in the certified gold world, the artisanal gold mining world, and if we think that enough has been achieved in the 10 years that's passed, you know, whether things are, you know, really having a little shift towards ethical sourcing. Traceable sourcing is the big key there, I think. And also we've been, as Fair Luxury, conducting a metal survey, which has been out there for a little while, but we're setting a deadline to complete that for the 30th of September, so just after the next open house session. But that we would just like to get to know what everybody is using, and you know, so we can sort of put together a bit of a report on that, which would be a fantastic bit of data to have, and just to get a general sense of where everyone's up to. And I think somebody's probably popped a link up on the chat there. Thank you, Liz. to if you want to check that out, then there's a link to it on our website. So can I just sort of maybe ask who is actually using traceable gold? I know there's recyclable, traceable are, you know, the two sort of main ones that we're looking at, but are we sort of using a mix here? Yeah, it'd be really interesting to see what the, you know, how the sign up rate for those two, well, Fairmind and Fair Trade are, I guess, the two biggies. See what their sort of uptake is, if that's still gathering momentum, or, you know, what's motivating people to get signed up for that. How long has everybody been working in those materials? Anybody want to jump in and say, oh, Anna, I use Fair Trade silver and gold, Fair Trade gold chains. Oh, that'd be really interesting to, sorry, Anna, just pop something in the chat there about Fair Trade and Fairmind gold chains, which would be really interesting to hear more about, because we're always on the search for that as jewelers. But yeah, would anybody like to share anything about their experiences of traceable gold in the meantime?
I'm from Labrusan Studio. We use kind of all of them. So we use recycled, Fair Trade, and for quite a while we were doing Fairmind Ecological. But we've definitely found kind of Fair Trade's what we use the most of kind of the certified. People just don't tend to know as much about Fairmind. And then recycled's been a lot more popular in the last like few years. I think it's kind of been even between Fair Trade and recycled. Yeah. In terms of the auditing process and everything, I would say that Fairmind has been a lot easier. I don't know if anyone else has found that, but yeah, it's kind of my experience.
Thank you, Kim. Yeah, so just closing out now, I guess. Is there anything anybody else would like to contribute about the sessions, or anything in particular you'd be interested in hearing more about for our other dedicated open house sessions? Because we want to really make sure that we're, you know, talking about the right things to our audiences. So if there's anything that people are, you know, really wanting to hear more about, then please, you know, either, you know, let us know now, or we're always open to feedback and suggestions via our various channels or websites.
Can I say something? Who was Jessica is asking about the chains. I bought the chains from Curtis, but I think they don't have any more fair trade left because I bought from their last stock, and that's why I have fair trade at the moment. But Fairmind chains is being available also from Curtis. And I know that Fairmind had made a collect order for the Fairmind licensees not so long ago, but I wasn't on it because I already had this in stock. So and in case of in respect of what to use, I have decided only to use the certified gold because I think it's also, I want to support the miners, and I think it's also easier to explain to my clients that this is my choice. I don't use recycled because I want to make this, I want to do good for the miners with what I do, and I know that there are lots of recycled, so I always tell the story about how gold has always been recycled and so on. So yeah, that is my choice. Just so.
Yeah, and just to join in with that, if you're interested in sourcing different things in fair trade or Fairmind gold, or doing more of that in your work, then please fill in the survey, because this will give us how do you say, power, or at least, you know, to have all that information. We can then talk with suppliers and say, look, these people are looking for this material. Yeah, so that's it.
How long's the survey running for? Is this your survey, the Fair Luxury
It's
one?
a Fair Luxury survey, and it's until 30th of September, and the link is in the chat right now.
Because I thought it was the end of July, and I couldn't get the figures because I'm not in the office. I couldn't get the figures to be able to do it.
So it's a tiny bit of prep, isn't there, to figure out how many grams you're thinking you'll need, etc. So it's maybe a 10-15 minute job, I would say.
If we are filling it in about fair trade specifically, if all we need to know is about the amount of gold that we're using for fair trade, then I can get that information relatively easily. If I need to also be able to give you the information about what gold we're using in recycled, for example, then it gets a little bit more complicated, because of course we don't have to fill in those forms in the same way that we do for fair trade.
Yeah, I don't think it's,
you need for fair trade.
Yeah, it's about artisanal and traceable gold, so it's not about recycled.
No, okay. So in our business, because we use both, the information you need is only about the fair trade side of it. That I can do.
I think so. Is this right?
I'm really pleased to hear that, because I was really stressing myself out that I haven't been able to fill in this survey for you guys.
Bless you. Excellent.
Like,
thank you.
I can't get this information. I don't know what to do about it. And I was just like,
relax.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, well, so I think we're up to time now. Is that right? Up to 11. So just to close out, just to say again, thank you, just to reiterate that, you know, how great it is to have you all on board, and, you know, it's a collective effort. We're just all part of the same, you know, we have the same wishes, the same passions for all of this. So this is what's needed to make change, really. As Clara was saying, you know, it's about collecting the data, things like that. If we all ask more questions, if we all ask different suppliers to give us more answers, then that's when really change starts happening. And I think that's a really important thing to remember and to believe in as small businesses, all you know, all obviously different, but you know, to really believe that we can affect change just by coming together and asking this question. So keep on going, everyone. We can do it. And everybody, fingers crossed for the UK Jewellery Awards. It'll be awesome for our little team to, you know, get a shout out on there. So that'd be brilliant. And yeah, thanks again for everyone for making that possible. Rightio. Cool. Bye everyone. Bye bye.
Thank
everybody.
you.
Thank you.